Hello, hello, and welcome to a little podcast episode. I haven't done this in a really long time. Nothing fancy going on here. I'm in sweats, no makeup, in my living room, no special lighting, just coming to you to chat about all that has transpired in this last month or so. So, God, where do I even begin? Just before I begin, I just want to settle in because this is big. I'm sharing some really big stuff with you all. And I just want to thank Goddess for being with me, guiding and directing my thoughts and words, for giving me the courage to show up in all my beauty, in all the messiness, the muck, the scary parts, the vibrant parts, fiery parts. Thanks, Spirit, for always directing me, guiding me, and being the divine masculine in my life. So it is. So let's begin. So this has been April 8th was the new moon Aries solar eclipse. And I made myself notes because there are several points I want to get into. And anyway, so on April 8th, I knew I could feel in myself that this was going to be a big time. And I wasn't really certain exactly what was going to happen, how it was going to transpire. I just felt deep within me, this was really powerful. And what had come through for me around the eclipse and knowing that it was about our soul's destiny, our soul's highest path forward, North Node, and knowing that with the eclipse, the light is being darkened. So it's kind of taking us into this portal of a dark place, an unknown, a mystery, which is one of the things that I work with regularly. So, if you've been on my website, you may have seen. If not, it's okay. I have a ton of Taurus energy in my chart, and I am fueled by Taurian energy, and I'm learning more of Taurian energy, and I have my Venus and my Mars and my Chiron, like all of these things. I'm not going to get into all of that, but big Taurus energy. But I also have what's considered a specialization in Scorpio, which is dark, death for rebirth. It's really it's ruled by Pluto, if you know anything about that, but darker mysteries, death for rebirth. And while Taurus is really earthy, Scorpio energy is really watery. And I have this genius aspect of me having an Aquarian moon that I come from another galaxy. I have totally different perspectives than most. I just see things in a depth and a detail that a lot of people don't. And I can put things together. And that's also my 3-5 manifesting generator human design profile, that I experiment a lot and I put a lot of different things together. And having an Aquarian moon, I'm learning how to be in a body. And I get to do that through Taurus energy, which is embodied energy, which is really cool. So I was playing with all of this stuff and I was noticing, okay, what is coming through for this eclipse energy? And what I made note of that I really felt like that eclipse energy was about was destiny enchanted, seeds planted, and wishes granted. So, and the reason I worded it that way is because it is about our soul's highest journey forward. Ego deaths were happening, probably still a little bit are. We're coming out of that portal, but depending on who you talk to, it can last for quite some time. But the full moon in Scorpio was not an eclipse full moon, so it really was helping to bring us out of that eclipse energy. But anyway, so I went into this April 8th eclipse. I had this beautiful, I went to a beautiful eclipse party. I did animal card readings for my friends there and for a few people that I just kind of am acquaintances with. And spirit was really moving through me, and I was really, really in my magic. And it felt great. And I could feel an inner shift happening. And so I just kept going with the flow. And then we got to the Jupiter Uranus conjunction, which was like really big, amazing energy. So Jupiter is all about expansion. Uranus is about making the destined thing happen by whatever means necessary. Some people say there's a lot of shock energy that can happen with Uranus. But so we had these two things coming together. And during that same time, Mars, which is our divine masculine, was sextile Jupiter and Uranus. So, what that means in shamanic astrology is that we could have deeper integration of our divine masculine during that time. So, here I am having this, being in this grace bomb, expanded energy of Jupiter, in this Uranus energy, bringing anything necessary to make the thing happen. And then my divine masculine just getting more and more and more integrated, bigger, bigger, bigger in me. And around the same time, Mercury was retrograde. And Mercury is the messenger of the gods. And so Mercury, when it's retrograde, can go to the gods and get the messages for us if we want to work consciously with this energy. Now it's on offer. All of this stuff I'm talking about is on offer to us when these things are happening astrologically, but it doesn't mean we have to partake in them. We have choice. We can say we're not going to partake. We can say we're going to ignore it, or we can really consciously, mindfully work with it, which is what I choose to do. And I love that. So I have ceremonies, I burn incense, I burn candles, I take baths, I use oils, I do all the things. I burn sage, I play instruments, drumming and rattles and sound bowls, and just whatever feels of service to me. This is a lot of just has happened with me in recalibrating my nervous system. I learned when I started that work, spirit was taking me to these modalities, and naturally they would happen because it is my belief that we all have ties to medicine women. We all have ties to the great shaman. We all have that within us. So I work with those energies a lot when I am in ceremony, and it's a commitment I've made in my life to follow my inner divine knowing above all else, at all times, whatever the consequence, right? So I walk the shamanic path. I use my gifts in a medicine woman modality to help heal others, to help them enter their wound and use their wound and find the pleasure in it. But use it. Use their body. Use the wisdom in their body to heal their minds and their spirits, to let their souls guide them. So I'm doing all of this work, and I'm consciously bringing in the energies from Mercury, messenger of the gods, to grow my inner divine feminine, and to get messages about love and about my feminine energy, and to go deeper into integration of my masculine. And then here comes the full moon in Scorpio, asking me to, it brings the culmination. It illuminates all of this stuff. It illuminates things that we haven't seen before. And then begins the shedding. Begins the, oh, now I'm asking you to release what no longer serves you for this next step forward. And because it's in the eclipse energy, because it's the close of that eclipse, it is, okay, what do I need to release to support my soul's highest path? My soul's highest path, not my ego's. And so I know it might sound really beautiful, and it is really beautiful, but I was in a really, really deep internal contracted process. I was like the caterpillar that becomes the mush, and I became mush, and I've been in the mush. But the beautiful part is we need the mush to become the butterfly. We need the mush. So I've been in the mush, and I haven't even been able to formulate a sentence for weeks, other than when I've met with some of my very closest girlfriends, who I am so fortunate to have the kinds of loving female friendships that I have in my life. So when I was with them, all of the things I was feeling and struggling through and processing, that would come out. And they were a really safe and beautiful place for me to just almost vomit it out. Like it would just come out. But other than that, I couldn't formulate a really conscious thought hardly. I was not in a communication mode. And I share that because I just think it's so important to normalize it. It's so important to know that when we're inward, those times are purposeful and they're important, and we need them, and we don't need to judge them. We don't need to judge the mush that we're becoming, because it's a necessary part of the transformation process. Okay, so I've been in the mush. And then really just today, I came out of the mush. And so I wanted to share a little bit of what I learned and what I personally was going through and dealing with. And I'm going to try to walk a little line between being really vulnerable, honest, and transparent, and also keeping some things for myself. So we'll see how I do dancing with this. I don't know. I'm not always the greatest at that part. Okay. Let me make sure I got everything so far. Yeah. Okay. So what I was noticing when I was in this internalized process, going inward in the dark over these last, especially couple of weeks, but really almost a month now, is that these beliefs were coming up that were really old beliefs. And they were things from my childhood that I thought I had already dealt with. But, anyone that's been following me for a while knows that I do often talk about that we know we've dealt with something already, But there are so many layers. So we deal with one layer, and then that thing will come back around for a deeper layer of healing, which is absolutely perfect and beautiful. And that's just to take us deeper, to expand us more, to go bigger. And that's kind of what had happened this time with me. So I had some beliefs based on things from my childhood that first of all, I was like invisible. I was never seen because I had this really terrible thing happen to me, which, so I always debate if I should just say this again or not, because I don't want to like trigger anyone. But yeah, anyone that knows my story knows that I was raped as a little girl. And nobody in my family, all the adults in my family who loved me, I have no doubt that they loved me. But part of me wants to say supposedly loved me because they loved me, but I was still somehow invisible to them because this thing happened to me, and this thing happened repeatedly, and nobody noticed. Nobody paid attention. Nobody saw that I completely left my body. I completely disassociated. And I know part of that was because I was really good at being a good little girl. And it was still really hurtful. And it's still, as an adult, looking back on that, I felt rage. How could I be that invisible to the people that were there to protect me and take care of me and love me? How was I that invisible? And what does that mean about me or about my life or my worth if I could be that invisible when something that tragic happens? And that ties into the belief that I just wasn't worthy to receive anything good. I just wasn't worthy to receive any gifts, any love, any kindness, anything good. Because if no one could even see me, I must not be very important. I must not be worth being seen. Now, this was also conscious happening, right? But it's the meaning making process in the body. So, I'm internalizing all of this through the years, and then other things would happen. This is the part I'm trying to go off the fun line and not, I have great parents, and I'm never wanting to like throw them under the bus because they're great, but every parent fucks stuff up. They do their best. We all do our best. I'm a parent. I do my best. I'm sure I'm still fucking some stuff up with my son. So anyway, though, I had these other experiences where I got the message that, yeah, it reinforced that actually you're not worthy. See, because we're not doing this other stuff for you. So you're not worthy. And the only way that I could have something done for me or get something was if I was in need, like truly, truly in need. Did I need it? Not did I desire it? Did it make my life more abundant and magical and amazing? But did I have a need for it? Again, not blaming my parents. They were doing the best they could. 4 kids are expensive, but this is how it felt. And I did see my sister getting things, who I also love, if she's listening, I love you. Um, but I did see her getting things that I was not offered. I was not afforded. I was not given, even if I asked for them. And if I was given something that she was given, I was given a lesser amount of it or a smaller version. And so it felt always as if, okay, I'm not needy enough. And that actually, you know, when I did finally get older and have the courage to ask my mom, she said to me, well, you didn't need it. So it, again, like that reinforced, like, okay, so I have to really be in need to have someone give to me or do for me or love me. Or I have to be a good little girl, do what other people want me to do, behave, and then they'll give me what, you know, I want. Like if I make straight A's, and as I got older, if I don't drink and if I do this and if I do that, and if I'm perfect, basically, and perfect by whose standards? Whoever it is. If it was my parents that I needed something from, being perfect to get it from them. If it was in a relationship, so this is how it really went into relationships for me, is I had to be perfect in that relationship in order to have my needs met in that relationship. And I thought, if things were going sideways, then I must clearly be the problem. I am not perfect enough. So I better work harder. I better bust my ass more. I better fucking get after it because it's on me. Because I am not perfect enough. And of course, if I can't do it myself, if I absolutely cannot do it myself, then someone will do it for me. And still then, I didn't really want to ask for help, which part of that is being a Taurus. I've had to learn to ask for help. But part of it is also the conditioning that I did receive growing up. So if I could do it for myself, I was expected to do it for myself. And which is really interesting because I also come from a family where people just ask you to do everything for them all the time. And, oh, can you run over to Walmart and pick this up for me? Or can you do this? Or can you do that? But when it came to me, there was no room for that. So sometimes the irony in these things are interesting. So this has really negatively impacted my life. And I've done a lot of work on it over the years. And I felt like, gosh, I'm doing so great with this. I've done so much work on it. And then here we go into this eclipse portal and it all comes up again. And I have a new level of fucking rage. Like I wanted to like burn the goddamn house down, you know? Like I was beating pillows, I was screaming, I was doing all of these practices that I learned when I was going through, well, I learned them before I was going through the therapy for dealing with PTSD, but I used them again in that therapy where it's like you have to let the fucking rage out, and rage mode is important. And because we had Aries, which is very fiery, and the goddess Eris, which she is fierce and fiery and chaotic, and we had all of that going on. The rage was burning, 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 and I let it fucking burn. And I just went into it. I went into all the rage. I beat the shit out of my bed. I did all the things because I had to like just process through that in my physical body. Remember, Taurus is all about embodiment, and the power is in our body. But as I was going through that, and then I was processing through the rage, what I realized is this is so important because it's really hindered me in a lot of ways. And one of those ways is it's kept me really small. It has kept me so small. These beliefs have kept me so small. These experiences that I internalized and made to mean something, they kept me small, because one of the reasons is my love language and how I feel and receive love is through gifts and through people doing for me. And not just like any little gift, like, I mean, that's fine. But what it's really about is like someone knowing what I love, listening to me, getting me the special something that I just desire so much and I adore. And maybe it is bigger than, you know, they would normally do, or maybe it's not. Like sometimes I do like a little coffee mug or something, but it's really about, the reason I mentioned the bigger thing is because I am Taurus, and the quality of things is super important to me. Quality is like, for a Taurus, like you've got to have quality. So anyway, my love language and how I receive love is through gifts and through people seeing me and seeing the things I love and giving me those things and showering me in those and adoring me. And so I was unconsciously keeping myself really small, because then if I needed it, like I couldn't get it for myself, then maybe someone would get it for me. Now, a lot of times they didn't get it for me anyway. So then I just went without. But subconsciously, because I wanted to feel loved, I would keep myself small and keep myself in a situation where I could not do it for myself. And so I was blocking abundance in my life. And this is just even to now, like, right? Like I'm just coming out of this yesterday, today. So it's not like I'm talking about something that happened 15 years ago. I'm living it right now. I'm living it. I'm transforming it right now. But I've been blocking abundance in my life, which I know is funny as I'm sitting here looking at my background, and I've recognized how abundant my life looks. And my life is very abundant. And I have struggles and I have things that people don't know about. And there's a lot of room for more abundance and more expansion in my life. So, I have been keeping myself small in hopes that other people will want to give me my deepest desires and adore me in that way. Because I was taught that I had to be in need in order to be loved. I had to be in need in order to have someone do those things for me, which to me equals love. And I wanted desperately, and I still do, we all do, we're all humans, we want desperately to feel love. So it makes sense. I would just keep myself small to feel loved, to have others do for me. It also has kept me feeling like I'm not worthy to receive. And this is a big one. It has kept me feeling like I am not worthy to be given to just because I am me and I am great and I'm amazing. And on one level, I've known this and I know it and I feel it in my bones and I radiate it so often. And it might be another thing that people who know me are like, what? You feel that way? But yes, it has often been a big struggle for me to receive from people, to actually open and receive and trust that they are doing it for me just because they want to do it, not because they want something in return. Because, and I want to say that again, because I think that's important to hear. It's been difficult for me to receive from people and to trust that they want to give to me and they want to shower me with adoration, gifts, love, affection, whatever. But especially when it comes to giving me material things. It's been difficult for me to trust that when someone gives me a material thing that they're doing it just because they love and adore me, just because they want to give it to me, and that they're not looking for anything in return. That's big. And that's a big painful one for me. Yeah, that I'm still, it's fresh and I'm still processing through. Because things were not just done for me to be done for me out of just love, just because, oh my God, you're my daughter and I love and adore you. Let me give this to you. Let me do this for you just because you're Amanda. Just because you're Amanda. Just because your heart's pure. Just because you shine bright. Just because you love. Just because you're who you are. Just because you're you. Let me give to you. That wasn't really my experience. And so finding that place inside me that knows I am worthy of that kind of love just because I'm here on the planet and I exist. And that's been a learning. And I did go into this portal where it does feel like it really just boom shifted. But I'm still having to learn the embodiment of it. I'm still having to learn how that feels in my body because I walked the other path. I'm almost 45. I've walked the other path for almost 45 years. So embodying it and reminding myself and creating this whole new neuro pathway network, nervous system rewiring in my body around this is new and it's happening. It's happening now. It was a sudden shift and the embodiment practice continues over time because we just have to keep practicing because it's familiar to go back in our other ways and our ruts, our well-worn ruts. All right. Another thing is that this has made receiving really uncomfortable for me because I knew that someone giving to me, it was always tied to something. It was always tied to me either behaving the way they wanted me to behave, doing what they wanted me to do, me being in lack, which may have been the worst one ever because I really, really despise lack. Like that, I'm sure like that's wrapped up in my Taurus abundant thing. But it's like, wow, I have to make myself so small and make myself in lack to get. And that doesn't feel good in my body. So when I'm receiving, it feels like, wait a minute, is this safe? Is this safe? In my nervous system, I'm like, this isn't safe. This isn't safe. This isn't safe. Something's got to be wrong here. This is not safe. You actually have felt this way before. You must be really in lack and you don't even know it. Oh my God, you are in lack. You are in lack. Something terrible, the shit's getting ready to hit the fan because someone just gave to you and did for you. And like it was something I could have done for myself. That is how deep this runs. It can actually trigger a cascade of events of me thinking that I'm in need or in lack when I'm actually in abundance. But receiving can trigger that for me. So I have to really just be aware of that and do some nervous system rewiring practices to shift that within myself. And it's become a practice for me to just sit in receivership, to just say thank you. to just practice saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you when someone does something for me. And it was recently pointed out to me that sometimes I like overly say thank you. So now I'm having to like notice that it's not my job. It's not like I'm rewarding good behavior. Like I'm giving my cat like all the treats when he'll, use his scratch pad or something instead of the furniture to try to like make him keep doing the good thing. It's almost like unconsciously I was doing that. And so now I'm very thankful that my friend pointed this out to me so that now I can be like, oh, I can just really be an appreciation and thank you and trust it and let my nervous system be settled. But I think part of that overthinking, not overthinking, but overthanking, like over thank youing, really came from that unsettling in my nervous system that it's not safe. So I better let them know that like it's good, it's good, it's good. So that like a projection outward so that I felt more safe with it. I hope that makes sense. And the one thing that I do want to also get into is how this has impacted my relationships. I think it's super important to at least touch on this because it is big. It is big. And everything is interconnected and related, and all the work we do filters out into every single little piece of our lives. And I was just thinking yesterday about like, as I embody this new way of being, I was having a meditation like, can I just bring it actually into the molecular level of my body? Like, don't even stop at the womb. Don't even stop at the heart. Don't even stop at like the organ level or the bone structure level or the brain level, but like into my bloodstream, into my molecules. Can I transform? Woo! I feel that. I feel it. Can I transform how every molecule of my being shows up? Shows up to receive more abundantly, to show up more abundantly, which means I can also give more abundantly. But we'll get into that another time. That's not what today's about. Okay, so how it's impacted my relationships. For one, I have chosen men especially, but also some friendships where everything is up to me. It's all on me. I have to do it all on my own. And that goes back to I have to be able, like, things will only be done for me if I absolutely can't do it myself. So, and like I'm on my own. Like I remember I used to like scrounge around basically for money. So if I got money for say going to a ball game or something, like I would get less stuff at the ball game so I could keep a portion of that money so that over time, if my parents gave me money for things like that, or if I like had a job and I spent money on things like that, I could save up enough to get the shoes I wanted, or save up enough to get the special jacket I wanted, or whatever, because it was up to me. I had to do it all on my own if I wanted it. If I wanted anything special, if I wanted the extra, I had to do it. It was up to me. So in relationships, that's just the standard is like, oh yeah, I've got it. I've got it. It's all on me. It's understood. It's all on me. It's always been on me. So I'm just going to do everything. It's all on me. And I have chosen men in my life who literally either absolutely cannot do shit or won't. And so, I actually had a child with a man who was gone the majority of the child's life. It was all on me. to raise that child. Jagger, who's a magnificent kid. I've done a fabulous job, if I do say so myself. But the point is that, and also it's true that I've probably, fucked some things up, like I said earlier, because I'm a human. But the point is that whether it was as extreme as that, or it was like just running the household and just making sure bills were paid and things were done, it was all on me. And that went down to like even the fun stuff, planning a vacation or where we would go to dinner, or it was all on me. And that is how tricky this stuff is and sneaky it is. It gets into every area of our life. So it really has kept me in unfulfilling relationships. And I'm just looking at my notes here. It also has set the bar for entry low in my life. Basically like I can do everything on my own. I'm not gonna, like if I'm trying to not be needy, because I hate like that neediness, but I know that I'm needy, but I know I have to be needy or have to be in need to get a gift, which is my love language. Then what happens is when men would buy me gifts or would give me certain like things that I really would desire, they could get away with a lot of shit because they did that for me. And that I'm sure was also tied up into this, like I'm not worthy to receive it. All these things are interconnected. But the bar for entry was extremely low because I just thought, well, they're giving me a gift and they love me and no one's ever done that. So that's enough. That's enough. They can like be falling apart over here and a shit storm over there, and and almost like the price, my price to pay was to clean up all those messes and take care of all that, because the gifts aren't for free. Remember, the gifts aren't for free. You have to prove that you like deserve the gifts. So look, I deserve it. Thank you for giving me the gift. I'm going to go clean up all these messes you're making. I'm going to hide things for you. And I'm going to da 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 da, because I'm getting love. And I hate to use quotes because like it really does feel like love to me when people give to me. It really feels like love to me when people give to me. But unwinding like that there has to be reciprocity in that, and it has to be mutually beneficial. Like that is so important. That's an important piece that we're talking about here. So it's not that the gifts and all of that can't be loving, because I believe that they can be, but it's that me feeling unworthy to receive those just because I then will work extra hard if you give them to me. Or, that's been how I've behaved in the past. So, yeah, so that shit's changing today. The price for entry has been raised, just so everyone's clear. The price for entry has been raised. And I've already let some people know. And then, people being able to mistreat me and me still doing for them, because I think I have to earn their love. I think I have to work for their love. And that is really shitty, and that doesn't feel good. And so that's something that, again, undoing it. I'm unwinding those threads. And the interesting part about earning someone's love and all of that is part of my life's, let me see if it's, I can't remember if it's called life's work or life's purpose. But either way, it's life's work. My life's work in human design, I'm an 8.3. And part of that is that I'm rebellious. I'm rebellious. I'm this 3-5 manifesting generator with a life's work in 8.3, which is this exquisite, stylish, rebellious person that creates change through their rebellion, creates change through their exquisite nature. That's who I am. So it is impossible for me to be pleasing to everyone. It's impossible. If I'm showing up in my authentic truth, I'm not going to fucking please everybody. I'm not going to do what everybody wants me to do because I'm meant to go first. I'm meant to experiment. I'm meant to show people that there's another way. And I can't do that if I play within the little box and if I color within the lines all the time. So I have to, absolutely have to let go of this belief that I got to act perfect and meet everyone's needs and be a good little girl to get my need for love met, to be given to be cherished and adored. And the funny thing is in a lot of ways, I have let go of that. I mean, you know, just ask most people who know me, I kind of like do whatever I want. And I am rebellious and I, have been living that way. But the consequence of me living that way has been I don't get certain things from people I love because I don't meet the expectation of what they want me to meet. So that therefore they withhold love from me. They withhold things from me, which is withholding love from me. And so what I'm wanting to shift now is like, oh, no, I want to receive the gifts, receive the love, not only and be rebellious, but because I'm rebellious, because I'm exquisite, because my standards are high, because I'm like, oh my God, let's eat all this regeneratively farmed food and only cows that have been grazing on grass 100% of the time. And like only chickens that are pasture raised. And because that's better for us, it's better for the people who are around me. They get an upgrade by being with me, by being in that rebellious nature. And I say it's rebellious, which I don't even think it should be, but whatever, because the mainstream is like, oh, factory farm cows are fine. But no, I get the upgrade. You get the upgrade. The universe gets the upgrade. The planet gets the upgrade. Everyone gets an upgrade when I'm exquisite in nature. And I want to be loved and adored for that. And so that's where the shift comes in. It's not just like, okay, I guess I can do. It's like, no. The new price for entry is you will love and adore me for this, or you can get the fuck out. There is no in between anymore. And it's not like demanding and rude and all of these things that women have been taught. It's having boundaries. It's having standards. It's knowing our worth. And there's just a new fire inside of me about this, Okay. So, oh yeah, there's one more thing that I do really want to share with you all. And it was this beautiful, beautiful image I got during meditation the day after the full moon. So I drew my animal cards in this full moon ceremony. I did it. I did a couple ceremonies the day of the full moon, and then the day after is when I drew my cards and did another ceremony. And I drew, let's see, what did I draw that day? Buffalo, sloth, alligator, and elephant. And they all had really amazing messages for me. And So I tuned into each one as I drew it, got some messages, and then I went into a meditation. And in the meditation, like normally, the animals that I've drawn in cards, they'll come to me in meditation. That particular day, the first animal I saw in meditation was kind of surprising. It was this big dragon, like a Komodo dragon. He was fucking angry, stomping feet, blowing fire, going crazy, twirling his tail and like clearing the land, just clearing the land, stomping everything down. And I was like, whoa, this is powerful. Okay, what's going on here? And I'm thinking like, oh, he's in like destroying things. Okay. So I'm just kind of getting more and more curious. Not kind of, I am getting more and more curious. And I'm going into this, deeper into this meditation. And then I see the land that he clears. And then this structure starts going up, and it's a castle. And there's this beautiful castle being built on this cleared land. And there's this outdoor garden, and a gorgeous outdoor garden. And I'm out in the garden with the buffalo, the sloth, the alligator, and the elephant. And then there are these people there who, like, I didn't even know who they were, see their faces really, but it was just like I had this sense like I was outside with all these people enjoying the day, celebrating, enjoying good food. Like we were having drinks, like waiting to go in for dinner or something. And I had this expanded view, and the dragon went back out. But at this point, there was like a moat and a bridge, and he went back out over it. And he was standing guard at the end of the bridge. And he was basically like interviewing anyone that wanted to come into my castle, into my queendom. And he was really putting them through the ringer and asking a bunch of questions. And he decided whether or not they could come in. And he only let the people in who were really, truly there for me, who really loved me, who wanted to add something to the queendom, who wanted to participate, who wanted to celebrate, who wanted to be in joy, in pleasure, who wanted to like up level and expand my life even more. And there came a point where, we let someone in, and this person came in and they started saying, oh, like, get this food and get that food. And it was stuff that I wanted to have there that I hadn't gotten. And they made sure, like, oh no, get it. Like, they wanted to contribute and add. And it was my deepest desire what they were wanting to add. They were wanting to put jewels on me. They were wanting this to be the most beautiful experience. They wanted to celebrate. They wanted the up leveling of all of it. Just because they loved me, they adored me, and they could experience, they were being invited into this big, beautiful world of mine, and they wanted to experience that too. And just like the dragon, like holding those firm boundaries, it's like, oh yeah, I need to use that dragon energy in my life to have those really firm boundaries with people and to say, you may or may not enter. I'm going to vet you first, and we will see if you can enter. And I encourage all of you to like take that energy, I don't know what came up for you all around all of this time. You may not even know consciously, like there's stuff still percolating in me that I'm sure isn't conscious just yet about this whole eclipse portal that we've been in. I mean, Mercury is now direct, so more and more is probably going to start coming up for you, and you kind of coming out of, maybe crawling out that dark portal that we've been in. But whatever shows up for you, I just encourage you to like go after it, embody it, practice it. It will probably take some practice, and that's okay. We're all in this together. We're all practicing. Just be easy with yourself. And one of the people who I really listened to, she talked about, Sabrina Lynn, she talked about like just moving slowly, like only moving as fast as, I forget the exact way she put it, but like as you can actually stay in alignment with this new you. And so that's really important. Just acting with integrity, acting in alignment with yourself, and this new version of you that's ready to emerge, and practicing is practicing. That's what, the pleasure and play, the medicine that is contradiction queen is a lot about that pleasure and that play and the embodiment, and noticing all the contradictions inside of us, right? Like me noticing how much I want to receive and how uncomfortable it is for me to receive. How much I want to receive, how uncomfortable it is. And then coming to this place in the middle where I can like work with those energies, work with the wounding. Oh God, there's so much pleasure to be had when we get into the wound and find like, all the nitty gritty and emerge anew. Emerge anew. Like something we haven't done or been before. And we can find deep, deep, juicy pleasure there. All right. And if you need any support at all, reach out to me. Let's talk. Let's chat. Obviously, you can always find more like on my Instagram. I haven't been blogging a lot. I've been really, really inward this year. Actually, it's been kind of a more inward year for me, but every now and then I do post a blog on there. But yeah, I love one-on-one support. I love supporting people. And well, I won't even get into that, but I'm considering ways of other support options too. But just reach out if you want to explore more of your depths, more of you, be in your body, find out how to get in your body even more. Okay. Big love. Peace out. I hope you have a great day. Mwah. Bye.